That's a throwback.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Only Human. We have another guest for you guys, which is very out of character for us, but we are so excited to have Brandon Saho joining us today. So Brandon is a mental health advocate and motivational speaker. After making it big in the sports reporting world, he stepped away to prioritize his own mental health and went on to create The Mental Game, which is a podcast dedicated to breaking the stigma and helping save lives through powerful conversations with athletes, celebrities, and people alike. So he has an amazing story to share. We are so excited to get into it. Welcome, Brandon.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. My favorite part of that introduction was hearing the Philly accent with character.
Yeah, you better get used to that. It's going to come out in full force.
I travel the country, speak everywhere. I love hearing everything. But thank you for having me on a serious note. I love what you guys are doing, and I'm excited to talk.
Yeah, we couldn't be more excited to have you. Second guest ever. How does that feel?
I've always been second place with most women I talk to, so this is like really, I just feel right at home.
It
Thanks.
just feels
meant to be.
I'm
to
sorry.
be fair, you would have been first, but you pushed this interview back.
I'm very busy and important. I'm so sorry that I did that to you. That's probably hurt my relationships as well. But we'll get into that later.
Self-sabotage?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm totally kidding. But yeah, that's actually a good little precursor. Mm-hmm. We have a little two-parter. I feel like the first part is really going to be about your story. And then we'll get into the topic of singleness, because I know that's been like popping off on your socials and something that your audience has really been resonating with, me included.
Yeah, that's been crazy to see, because I never really planned to talk about any of that stuff. And then I just did 3 or 4 months ago, and it got me on Oprah and double, triple, quadruple following. Like, I think just people being real, showing their human side, like that really helps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Absolutely. So I guess to start off, we definitely want to talk about your story because it's an amazing one. But before we even get to that, I always love starting from the very beginning. And I'm so curious, what was Brandon like as a child? What was your childhood like? What kind of kid were you?
I was loud, loved the spotlight, so that really panned out. I grew up in Cincinnati, huge sports fan, always wanted to be a sports reporter. I used to like stay up late against my parents' rules to watch Jay Leno on The Tonight Show. I was just obsessed with like, I don't know, I guess talking, which I do now for a living, so that's good. But I just really loved sports. I loved commentating and just being a part of I guess that community. I knew I wasn't going to go to the NFL or NBA as a tiny little white kid from Cincinnati, but I just always had that passion for sports. And so that was a big key for me. I grew up with a family that, my parents got divorced when I was 12. I don't know how they were ever married, if I'm being honest with you, but I love both of them equally. I've always had a great relationship with both parents. I have a younger brother, Nick, who's 2 years younger than me. And so, I grew up in a middle-class family in Cincinnati, loved watching my teams lose because we are terrible. I've never seen a championship my entire life. That's kind of I grew up with a really close family, extended family. I think that helped develop me into a people person and just care about, my cousins or, my aunts and uncles. That really did a big part for my mental health. But growing up, I never talked about anything mental health. I was struggling on my own. My dad was struggling. My mom was struggling, but no one talked about this stuff. Mm-hmm. So like, it's just crazy to look back at that. I'm sure we'll go through this in the conversation. It's just like, why didn't we talk about all this stuff forever? That really blew my mind when I look back on it.
Something really random that I picked up on that you just said is that you always wanted to be a sports reporter. I think that's so cool. It's so fascinating when people have that dream. I feel like it's always when we're younger, like an astronaut or a doctor or something, but you found something that you were really passionate about and then went on to do it. And I think that's so cool.
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's I don't know. I was always that weird kid with like big dreams and goals, and I did it because I just didn't quit on them. And hopefully that doesn't come across as like cocky, but it's every person that I've met that, has had those dreams since they were younger that do play in the NFL or are in music or on TV. Like that's the common thread, is that there's two types of people, in this world, the people that quit and the people that don't. The people that don't quit are the ones that make it. And so, Yeah, I remember going to a seventh grade football game and bringing a TV with a VCR built. You guys are old enough to know VCRs,
Oh my
no?
gosh, yes.
Okay, just making sure. I go to like a middle school or a high school now. They're like, "What's a VCR?" I'm like, "We got a long talk to have." But I had a TV with a VCR built in, a little camcorder, and a microphone. And in seventh grade, I did like my own little broadcast of our Thanksgiving football game. And so, like, I knew from a very, very early age that's what I wanted to do. I got some lucky breaks along the way, but it really was just not being afraid of hearing no and like going up to the random TV reporter when I was 14 and asking if I could shadow them or trying to get a job at the radio station as a producer. Like, yeah, I was very passionate about it. I still am. Storytelling in general, it's just shifted from sports to mental health.
I would imagine knowing what you wanted to do at such a young age really did help you eventually get there because you were able to like kind of start on that journey from, such a young age and really starting to forge those connections and, keep moving that path along. What was the path to get there? Like, did you study sports journalism in school? Like, did you have internships? Because you made it pretty big when you were pretty young in your career covering like big games. And so I'm just curious, like, what actually was the path to get there?
Yeah, I got on the radio the first time when I was 13, so that was cool. I sounded like this when I was on the radio. Um, my stepdad saw like an ad in the paper for like high school beat reporters, which obviously paid not. Like, I got paid in like sub gift cards from a local sub shop in Cincinnati. But that was my like first gig, I guess, in it. And then, those guys, Greg and Dan, that started this high school football, reporting area, like website and newspaper, they really gave me my first shot. And so it was really cool to grow with them throughout, high school, and they kind of helped shape me into the sports reporter dream. And then I went to college at the University of Cincinnati and studied e-media, which is basically broadcast journalism. And I really got kind of my crash course being in TV news. There's a position called the assignment desk, which is basically air traffic control. You're like listening to all the scanners. You're helping reporters tell them where to go if there's breaking news. It's a really unrewarding job, but it's like essential to the newsroom operation. And so a lot of people get their start there, but the sports department was right next door. And so I would bug Joe and Jeremy at the Fox station in Cincinnati, and they gave me like chances to do stand-ups and to shoot games and to kind of work on my craft. And so for me, that was like the first real life experience in it. And then when you work in TV, you got to bounce around. I went to small town Georgia. I was really bad on TV in the beginning. I hated my life because it was a small town with nothing to do. Then I got a job in Louisiana covering LSU and the New Orleans Saints. And so that was like a huge step up, and loved my time at LSU. I worked really closely with their athletic teams, and then getting to go home at 24, which is like insane to be in a market that's a top 40 market under 25. Like that, I knew I was lucky at the time, but I just didn't realize how lucky I was, because that's a huge deal. And so to get to be at home for 5 years and cover my favorite teams, even when they lost a lot, but still getting to like be on the sideline, interview Joe Burrow or Joey Votto, or cover my favorite, college basketball team, Cincinnati Bearcats. And it was a true dream come true. But I had to work my ass off to get there. And I'm still working my ass off now on this stuff. It's just a different form. But like, it was so hard to get to that moment, but it was so rewarding once you got to work that job that you always dreamed of having.
Yeah. I can imagine that. It sounds like you had such a passion for it. So I think did that help carry you through a lot because you were so passionate about it?
Yeah, and it also blinds you to some things that aren't maybe good about the TV world. Like, you don't make a ton of money in the beginning. You work late hours every weekend. You get off at midnight. Like, there's a lot of things that aren't most people couldn't deal with. But I think having that enthusiasm, that passion. But like at the end of the day, it was about telling stories and like helping sports fans. Like, I'm a sports fan, like see their favorite team in a different way. And so when you get to do really cool feature stories, or you get to be on the sideline for the AFC Championship and interviewing Jamar Chase crying to you as the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl, like, and that's your childhood team, like, that's when it really sets in. So I think that really was helpful that I had that passion, because then it forced me, like, it just wasn't another job. It was like what I thought I was supposed to be doing. So I really was passionate about going and chasing that dream.
Yeah.
Sounds like there were a lot of amazing moments, but also some grueling conditions. And just from hearing you kind of describe your childhood, it sounds like mental health was really always something that was in the background, maybe not at the forefront because it wasn't something that people were yet talking about, but something that you might have had some struggles with. And I'm so curious about this intersection of like your mental health and your career as a
Yeah,
sports reporter, and if it maybe got exacerbated a little bit as that career went on.
it definitely did. And it started, when I was 14 in high school. I had my first suicidal thought, and I didn't really share this story a lot until about a year ago when I was in a lot of high schools and middle schools. And I think people can relate to this that, grew up in the digital age like we did. Like, I was the first grade that had cell phones in 2007, and I was a freshman in high school. And I will never forget, I had a girl, and I were flirting back and forth, whatever. This is before Snapchat, and like we were on MySpace, so that's just a whole different era. But she had sent me like 20 nudes, and I sent her one. And I remember being in the front row of the student section at the football game, and she sent it to the whole school. Like, wow, the whole school was together at a football game. So that was the first time that I thought, like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. I feel alone. I didn't know what suicide was. I didn't know what mental health was, but I like just didn't want to be alive in that moment. And so, yeah, those next 2 to 3 months at school were brutal. We didn't talk about this stuff. It was really, really tough. Um, and that thought stayed with me off and on, not just from that event, but from, I struggled with alcoholism, turning into that as a coping mechanism, that feeling of being alone and single and losing out on, relationships throughout, college and my young adult life, obviously getting to my rock bottom 3 or 4 years ago. But I had no idea at 14 that that incident in 2007 would be something that made me kind of fight for my life with myself for the next 15 years before I ever asked for help, because no one talked about this stuff. You're supposed to be a man, rub dirt in it, don't ask for help. You were weak if you asked for help or if you showed emotion. Well, guess what? I'm like the most emotional guy you can ever be. So that was really hard for me to kind of like hold in. But yeah, it started then, and at my rock bottom 3 years ago, I'm at that game I was talking about, the AFC Championship, and no one knew behind the scenes, behind a smile on TV, that I had, a really toxic relationship and breakup with the woman that I thought I was going to marry going on. I had lost 3 family members, including my cousin Ben, that was basically my older brother. I had all this pressure on me at work, and it eventually got to a point where if I didn't ask for help, I was going to take my own life. So what do you do? Some people unfortunately make that decision to end things. And thank God I had some courage in me for some reason to talk to my parents.
I feel like that just encapsulates everything that Only Human stands for, because you're a prime example of how you can look like you have it all from the outside, but on the inside, you feel like you're crumbling. And just to even comment on that story that you told from 2007, my stomach just dropped when you told me that. Like, I can't even imagine going through that, especially at such a young age. So to just have that experience, I'm sorry, because that's terrible.
Well, thank you for saying that. And I tell it now because a lot of young people, especially young women that might be listening to this, go through that experience in high school or in college or even in adult life. And look, you can have everyone in the world tell you, well, why would you send a picture? Duh, I get it now. But like, you're young, you don't know what the F you're doing. And people take advantage of vulnerable people. And now with mental health, it's such a thing that, sextortion or AI, different things that can it's just a huge thing. That's why I've stressed it so much more recently telling my story.
I commend you so much for your vulnerability. Like, obviously on this podcast, we're trying to like be vulnerable and use ourselves as use cases. And I find so much difficulty in that because I haven't historically been a very open person. So even for just telling that story and knowing if it helps one person, like, you've done your job. Like, I just commend you so much for not only that story, but your entire mission and just how vulnerable you are.
Well, thank you. That's the goal. Like, just to tell your story to help even one person. I've been grateful to be able to share it all over the place and it's all on the internet, which can be good and bad. But knowing that it can help people is like, that's what motivates me to come on this podcast with y'all or talk about it at school next week. It's like, you never know whose story or who your story could touch and help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so true.
So what was it like for you in that day to day of showing up to work, having all this immense pressure, going through all of these things, and just still having to show up with a smile on your face?
I hated I hated everything. It was really, really hard. It's I don't recognize that person that I was, but I was suicidal from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed. I was, out partying until 3 or 4 in the morning, drinking, drugs, gambling, doing all this stupid stuff, and then like waking up late, not working out, not taking care of myself, and I hated work all of a sudden. Like I just wasn't being myself, which, as we know, is one of, if not the biggest red flag and warning sign if you're in a mental health crisis. And so, there was just a lot, and like it's as someone that grew up watching all your best friends marry their high school sweethearts or people around you get married and have kids, have the things that you want, it takes a toll on you. And I think I finally thought I found that person. And when it all goes away, it was, it was really tough. And, I couldn't escape it at work because I worked with the person too. So that was like another part that was really, really tough because it's like, all right, I just want to go to work, put my head down, forget about this. Well, that person also works there, so it's like you can't escape it at all. We had the same friend group. It was just a really tough. I don't even know who that person was. Like I was so miserable. I abused my body. I abused alcohol. I didn't take care of myself. I was at this rock bottom where like I thought I was better off dead, which is really sad to say out loud.
Yeah. Even just hearing you describe your lifestyle with like the drinking, the going out, the lack of sleep, the stress with work. Like me and Jess host these Pilates events and they're centered around healthy habits and routines. And I always open with the fact that I'm like the habits and routines queen because I struggle with my mental health and because I'm a naturally anxious person. And so even just hearing that, it's like, no wonder you were, struggling so much.
Yeah.
And because as humans, I think we don't recognize that mental health takes work and that we do need like boundaries and guardrails in place to set us up for success, to feel good day in and day out. And I think you looking back at that stage in your life and then the era that you're in now, it's like your mental health is in such a better place for so many other reasons, but also because you're taking care of yourself, which I feel like is just such an important message. Because I think in America, we're just conditioned to not take care of ourselves. The food makes us sick. The water makes us sick.
Yeah.
We're attached to a screen and sitting at a desk 12 hours a day. So it really does take like the actual work to change your life, to change your mind.
And when you see it work, like working out or going to Pilates and you see yourself feeling better, thinking clear, it's like you want to do the same thing for your mental health. So like once I started going to therapy or I went to the hospital, I was like, oh shit, I'm not the only one that thinks like this. And guess what? If I keep doing it and I take the medication or I start going for a run every day or go hiking, like, oh, it's going to help my mental health if I talk about this stuff. Like you see those results, you want to keep doing it, whether it's getting sober, going to the gym, going to therapy, like it all pays off when you put in the work.
Yeah, absolutely.
We talk all the time about that, like positive reinforcement. You just have to do the thing and then it just motivates you so much more when you see those results and those positive things that come from it.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah. But the hardest part is actually just starting to do the thing.
It's like going to Orange Theory after we're done. I'm like, oh, I really don't want to do it. I flew in late last night. I'm tired. But hey, guess what? You got to go. You got to do it. You know you're going to feel better after.
Yeah. So did you ever battle, I guess, when you were in this like rock bottom point of your life, did you ever have difficulty differentiating between like, is this just like normal stress and burnout that everyone has? Or am I like really having a tough time here? Like, was that ever a thought?
Yeah. The problem for me was I had the off and on suicidal thoughts from 14 to 28. So now the frequency of them changed. But like from maybe 22 to 28, I would say that thought of suicide and the loneliness set in like almost once every month or 6 weeks. And then when I got to that rock bottom, it was every second of every day. And yeah, I thought that no one else felt like that and that I was the only one that got that low. I knew people were suicidal, but I didn't think anyone could understand why I felt alone and why I didn't want to live anymore. Like, I had so many walks across the Roebling Bridge in Cincinnati where I just sat there at 3 in the morning, cried my eyes out, drunker than hell, and just thought about taking my own life. And I just thought I would never get out of that space. And so I did not separate the two. I was just like, well, I'm the only one that feels like this. I'm this sad. It's going to be like this all the time. So F it. Let's just keep drinking, keep feeling sorry for yourself, and it's never going to change.
You mentioned this rock bottom moment, and earlier you mentioned a conversation that you had with your parents when you finally let them in on how you were feeling. Did those two things coincide? Was that your rock bottom moment?
Yeah, so yes. So it was St. Patty's Day of 22, and it was the last time I went to that bridge with that thought of suicide. And no matter how you feel about people, whether it's an ex, a friend, family member, if people truly love and care about you, they will help you. And I called my ex to say goodbye because I was going to jump. And she stayed on the phone with me, and we had been breaking up for a couple months at this point, and I hadn't been in the hospital yet. And behind my back, while she's on the phone with me, she's calling my cousin Zach to come get me. And so he comes and gets me. She like kind of passes me off to them, which like I understand now. In the moment, I'm like, why the fuck don't you love me or care about me? Well, you are by doing that. I went to my cousin Zach's house. My mom was there. And I told her like, hey mom, look, you don't know this. No one knows this, but I don't want to live anymore. I haven't wanted to live for 3 months. I need help. And she was shocked. She was surprised, but she was supportive right away. I called my dad, put him on speakerphone, and tell him the same thing. And his reaction was, be a man, figure it the fuck out. We all go through stuff, and we yell at each other and hang up. But as I said, you know, people truly love and care about you, they will help you. They might not understand at first. They might not know what to say at first. My dad said the worst possible thing you could say to your son or daughter or someone you love. But an hour later, he called back and apologized, said, I don't understand, but how do I help? And so that was that rock bottom moment where I finally decided I need to go to a hospital and get help. So I called my therapist the next morning, told her everything, and I checked in the next day, and that was kind of that first day of taking care of my mental health for the first time ever.
Wow. We always pause for a second. I'm always like looking. It's hard to do it virtually, and I
You
always
edit
like.
this out?
Nope. Well, we don't really edit. We kind of just
Okay.
we could, but we are, that's
All right.
the whole
Only human.
beauty of only human. And doing a interview with 3 people, I always just like to pause because I'm the one that's always talking, and I need to give Jess space sometimes. I can only imagine, though, the relationship with a father and son around the topic of mental health, when even in this day and age, when mental health is so talked about in 2026, it's still taboo. I feel like there's still this notion that men should just suck it up, and if they're struggling, to struggle silently. And it sounds like your dad, and you do have a beautiful relationship still today. You said you love your mom and dad equally. You have a great relationship with them both. I'm just curious if that conversation at all affected your relationship with your dad going forward, or it truly was a blip in time that he kind of just lapsed for an hour and then he came around. Like, what did that support look like from him and from the other people around you as you embarked on this journey of going to the mental health, like checking yourself in?
Yeah, it definitely changed our relationship. I mean, we had to rebuild a lot, talk about why he said that, why he felt that way. And honestly, it was just him like listening more and being more open to talking about mental health. I was at his house for Christmas this year, so 6 weeks ago, and I like looked at him. I was like, "Hey, I don't know anything about you as a person. Like, I don't know your." It sounds sad to say out loud, but like, I don't know why you don't open up. I don't know why you drink like this. I don't know how you felt after your father died when you were 26. Like, I don't know anything about my grandpa. Like, let's sit here and talk this stuff out. And I wish I would have had that conversation earlier, but I think, now is the right time. And he got vulnerable with me and opened up really for the first time about why he held everything in. Like, he was taught the things that he was teaching me to be a man and be strong. He lost his father at a young age, never went to therapy, never really dealt with it, and held all those emotions in. So that's why he turned to the drinking, and that was his like escape, which, I did the same thing as what I saw my father do when he was stressed. And so it took us a while to really get to that point of opening up and talking about things. Um, but the little things changed in the beginning. With him, my mom, everyone, it was like, we just asked how you were doing. Like, cared about, like, my dad will call me and be like, hey, did you go on your run today? Or, hey, did you do this or that? And it's like, yep, I did. How about you? Okay, cool. It's like little things like that really, really went a long way. But in those first 2 weeks, like in the hospital, I was there for 2 weeks. I still didn't want to live, but I finally wanted help. And that was a big difference. And so learning things like coping mechanisms, boundaries, what to notice in yourself, how to ask for help, what to do in those moments of crisis. That was the first time where I was like, oh, I can do these things and they'll make a difference. And that included being honest with my therapist, having conversations with my friends and family, leaving that toxic relationship and knowing that I'm going to be better because of it, even the bad stuff. It's, yeah, those relationships definitely changed, but they changed for the better because they had to, or else they weren't going to exist. Like, I had to have that conversation with my dad. I had to be more vulnerable with him so he would do the same with me, and that, we could help each other because we never talked about stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like you needed to kind of be that model for him. And I always say, like, true love is the commitment to understand, but you
Yeah.
need to give people that chance. And I think we all kind of go through those struggles with our family members, our parents, but I think our job and the role that we need to play is just to communicate, to allow them to meet us where they're at least give them that option, give them the facts. And it does take being maybe the first person to open up and get vulnerable to give them a chance to reciprocate.
Well, it's like they can see that you're doing it, so they might be more open to asking for help or sharing their vulnerability, which no one ever did really until, like, I don't know, maybe the last 5 to 10 years on a big scale. So yeah, it's really powerful when you can have those conversations sometimes for the first time ever.
Yeah.
I think some of the details that you shared about how you were feeling mentally after you checked in to the hospital and out as well, I think that's so important, those little details, because I think maybe someone that goes to get help may think like, oh, after I, spend this time here, then I won't feel suicidal anymore. And maybe feeling like there's something wrong with them and that's how it should go. So I love although I'm sure it's very difficult to talk about, I love the detail that you do give, because it really paints a realistic picture of like what the journey is like.
Well, you don't just go to the hospital and then you're better 2 weeks later. It's something you always have to work on. Mental health, you don't win it. You're just working on it all the time. I'm definitely in a better place now, and I have all those tools in my toolbox, so that's amazing. But I still have tough moments. I still have tough days. Like, it's not like I am never sad. Now, I was sad every second of every day. I wanted to take my own life, so that's a huge difference to where I'm now. And it took like me loving myself for the first time and looking at myself for that happiness rather than a woman, a relationship, money, a job, external factors. You have to find it within yourself. And it sounds corny and stupid, but like, it really did come to that for me to get to this piece where, like, I do love myself and I'm okay on my own. Do I always want to be alone? No, but I'm okay on my own. I know how to take care of myself, which I was never doing before.
Yeah. What did those different like tools look like to lead you to start loving yourself? Like, was it a lot of therapy with your therapist? Was it journaling? Was it spending time alone? Like, I'm just curious, what are the levers that you pulled to really learn to love yourself?
Going to therapy definitely changed it and being like open and honest. Focusing on myself rather than, the girl that broke my heart or the job that I didn't like at the moment. It was like going to Orange Theory, and like for some reason I really enjoy an attractive woman yelling at me while I'm on a treadmill. That really helps me lose weight.
So that's what you're into.
So that's it right there. So I was trying to like filter that in like a way better way. I'm like,
You don't need
whatever.
a filter here.
Yeah, no. But it was
the whole
like,
point.
I lost 30 pounds in like 8 months from going to that every single day. and you build community, whether it's there or in therapy or with your new group of friends or getting sober. So I think the sobriety thing was a huge thing for me. It changed my life. God willing, I'll hit 3 years sober next week, which is just absolutely insane to think about.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't think it was
Congratulations.
possible. Thank you. My therapist told me, hey, you got to quit, take this medicine. Hey, it's terrible for your mental health. I was like, nope, not possible. Can't do it. And I failed a lot. It probably took me 5 or 6 times to finally get past like 2 weeks. And then I got to a month. And then I got to 100 days. Then I got to 6 months and a year. And I'm just like, holy shit, how did I do this? But again, it goes back to like when you see things work, whether it's therapy, going to the gym, getting sober, you want to keep doing those things. And so for me, I think the biggest key was loving, two biggest keys were loving myself and then getting sober. And I think the things that helped me the most with that were doing something about it, asking for help, going to therapy, but also realizing that these feelings are temporary. Even when I have moments like, I don't know, like today, I might be anxious about something I post on Instagram or going to the gym or whatever. It's like, okay, those feelings are valid. You can have them for a minute, but then let's go do something positive for your mental health. So for me, I think it was just a bunch of things, but getting sober and loving myself were the two biggest that really helped me get to the point today where the last year and a half, I am happy for the first time ever in my life, which I can't believe it took this long.
I'm sure it's really surreal to be able to just say that out loud.
It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, like I used to wake up every day and I'm just holding my phone up now and like get on my phone and be like, all right, Hinge, where am I going to meet my wife? Or like, hey, is there any DMs that I can reply to? Like it was so like I woke up every day waiting to meet my wife instead of wanting to be the best version of myself and find out how to be happy on my own, which obviously I've learned now. You got to be the best version of yourself and love yourself before you can ever share that love with someone else. But it took me a long time to get to that point. And so, yeah, it is crazy. Or like people telling me now how something that I said on a viral video about loving yourself help them leave a abusive relationship or find the ability to look for those same things in their own mirror and in themselves. It was, yeah, it's so strange. Like I don't recognize who I used to be. And I'm really glad y'all met me now and not 3 to 5 years ago.
It's no wonder you are like the light that you are today, and you feel that internally because you did start the mental game. And I think that's brought so much fulfillment to you, but you've also
Yeah.
really been like a servant to other people by being vulnerable and sharing your story. So I'd love to just spend a little bit of time digging into when you decided to start the mental game and how you pivoted away from your career as a sports reporter. Like, what was the timeline there? Did the sports reporter gig end once you started working on your mental health? Like, what was the transition there?
Yeah, so I had no plan, which is always smart to do. No plan at all. In TV, you're on contract, so I had like when I got out of the hospital, I had like 6 months left on my contract. I wanted to stay. I wanted to keep reporting on my favorite teams in NBC and Cincinnati, but I remember posting a like a almost like a journal entry on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, basically sharing my story, like what I just did with you guys about those long nights on the bridge and the suicidal thoughts and struggling and checking into a hospital. And when I saw the replies from people all over the country of like, hey, I had no idea. Oh, we're here for you. To I go through the same thing, or I'm in therapy, or hey, I'm suicidal right now and this helped me. That's when it clicked for me going, okay, if this little sports reporter in Cincinnati might be able to help a few people, what if I'm able to get these NFL players or even bigger celebrities or musicians that talk about it? We could really save lives. And so I had my brother design a logo, which he's a great graphic designer, obviously. Shout out Nick. But then I had an off day and I texted my friend Sam, who was Sam Hubbard, Bengals defensive end, and said, hey, I have this idea. Can I try it at your house? And he's like, yeah, sure. So I borrowed some equipment and went to his house, and that became the first episode. He kind of gave me the green light. So, yeah, I had no plan. 2 weeks before my contract was up, I told my boss that I wasn't going to stay, and I moved into my mom's basement, and that's how it all started. I drove Uber to make money because I was an alcoholic that didn't save anything. It was really, really tough, and it still is tough to this day. Like, it's not like I've made it. I'm still grinding. But Yeah, it was so strange. Like, I can't believe that I took that leap of faith and tried something new that I had no experience with. I mean, obviously, I was a journalist, I was a storyteller, I could interview, but starting your own business is so scary. It's still
Yeah.
scary now, but I found this new purpose that I didn't even know I had, and I thank God every day for that.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like there was like a really light bulb moment. And I love that once you had that realization when you got those DMs and for whatever made you put that story out there about yourself, um, I think lost it. It's gonna come back.
It was there.
I was
You
like,
lost
I think I know where you
I
were
got tripped up
going.
on my words. No, I just think
Oh,
it's
okay.
like, I
Are
think
you
it's so
nervous right
special
now?
that I am a little nervous now. I think it's so
I'm
special
not
that
Oprah. It's okay. I just interviewed her. That's all. Sorry, I'm just
I'm only
kidding.
human, guys.
I know. Sorry, that was so arrogant.
no.
The
People are
thing
gonna
is,
think I'm
we're
a
No, no,
huge
no.
so
asshole.
intertwined at the brain. I was ready to finish her thought.
Yeah,
'cause I
no,
think
you
I knew,
probably could
but
have. You probably could have. No, I just think it's so special that you were able to just jump and capitalize on that instead of like sitting on that idea and longing for it for a really long time. So I really like commend you for that because in starting my podcast, I had this idea and this passion about it, but I just sat on it for so long and I thought
Yeah.
about it every single day and I knew that was like what I was called to do, but I just couldn't bring the courage to like be vulnerable, put myself out there and face that
What
judgment.
made you guys
So-
do it then? How did you finally do it?
Well, one day I was just sick of thinking about it and I was like, I'm going to freaking do it. Like, I can't, like, I don't know.
And Jess was
Think
talking
about
about
it
her
anymore.
prior podcast called Figuring It Out because she had a podcast before she met me. So this was her solo venture. It's always
Gotcha.
easier to do something when you have a partner and somebody kind of like, carrying you through the hard times and motivating you to get something off the ground.
Yeah.
But this was when she was sitting with that idea months before
Okay.
we even met.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sorry for flipping the interview. I was just like, well,
No,
how did you
that's
do it? I went through the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, no, I commend you for like really being able to be like, hey, let's make this happen and just doing the thing.
It's
Yeah.
I either had to go get a real job or do this. And so I've never had a real job. I've always worked in media or TV or podcasting. So yeah, it was like, do I get a real job, which I applied for, or do I drive Uber and hate my life for now, but like let's see what comes of it. And yeah, it's been a wild ride. Never imagined it would get to where it is today, but like I remember when I started, I'm like, I want this to be the biggest mental health platform in the world. And people looked at me and I was crazy, and they said, "Who do you want to have on?" And I was like, "Oh, I'd love to have this athlete or this celebrity." And it's like, holy shit! Like, there's a wall on my studio here that has like photos in chronological order of everyone I've had on, and it's just so wild to see the picture of Sam in the beginning, and then there's different celebrities and athletes, Terry Crews, Kevin Gates, there's whoever else that's on there that like I don't know, it's really special when you get to see it grow, and like I'm still hungry. I want it to keep getting bigger and bigger, and I have goals for like a men's mental health documentary and other things that can help people on a bigger scale. But yeah, it's really special.
I'm curious because you are a male, and as we talked about, it's sometimes a little bit taboo to talk about your mental health as
Yeah.
a man. Do you feel like that is your differentiator and that like adds an edge that propels you forward, or do you feel like it serves as a barrier sometimes because there's not really a lot of men talking about it that's kind of acts as a headwind?
Yeah, I didn't really think about it in the beginning. I remember being in like this was the day that I decided to open up at the hospital, where one of the instructors, and you have therapy for like 10%, but 90% of it is classes with like 20 other people that are in the same boat as you, feeling that same way. And the therapist I was teaching in class was like, "Brandon, why aren't you opening up?" And I said, "Well, I've always just been this emotional guy. I just don't want to be a bitch." And she's like, "Well, that's the problem right there, is that you think that it's a weakness to be vulnerable, but it's a strength, especially for men." So I had no idea that, like, I thought I was the only guy that felt like this. Well, a lot of guys, maybe even majority of men, feel like this. They're just afraid of saying how they feel.
Yeah.
And so for me, that was I don't know, that's been the game changer, like especially on social media, like the video of me talking about my fear of never being a father or a husband, or hating being single on Christmas, or just like talking about my relationship stuff. Like I never planned to really get into that detail, but then once I saw how it could help so many people and they could relate to it, I mean, Yeah, I think that's the difference. And it's shocking that I would say my audience is like 70% women, which people are surprised by because they're like, well, you're a sports reporter and you talk to these rappers and athletes. And it's like, well, my understanding is, and tell me if I'm wrong, most women aren't used to seeing men be vulnerable. So, like, that's why I have such a heavy following of women because I think it's the first time, or when I'm in person speaking or on a podcast, like, they've never heard guys talk like this.
So
It's like,
refreshing.
okay, so like that's true. Like it was so weird to me in the beginning, but now I get it. Um, there's also been some weird DMs about like date offers and different things, but it's just I think for me, I didn't know that was a space that I'd go in, but like that's kind of what I'm not only the mental health guy, now I'm kind of like the vulnerable dude, I guess, which is a cool lane for me because I do like to cry and show emotions, which I think is a strength. It's not a weakness.
Yeah, absolutely.
It definitely is, especially when you learn to embrace it, because I feel like we spend so much time just trying to like not feel the emotions, but they always just find a way to come back and creep in other ways.
Well, if you don't get those tears out or you don't share those emotions, it's just going to make it worse on the inside. It doesn't matter if you're a man, woman, gay, straight, black, white, like we all go through this shit. We all feel the same stuff, but if we don't talk about it, how are we ever going to feel better?
Yeah.
We're only human, baby.
We're only
There it is. The mental game of being only human.
Yes.
No,
There's
that's
something
our
in that.
collab.
All right, cool.
It's like a
I got
t-shirt.
a
Collab
game
name.
trademark, so we'll figure out a way to collab those two together.
Perfect. Just to wrap up the part about you and your story, I would love to know for people listening that aren't necessarily in a boat where they are having suicidal thoughts or they're in a really bad place with their mental health, what can they take away from your story to maybe be able to show up for others better or to take away just to be better equipped?
Just listen and be there for people that need it. And then if you ever do feel that way, like don't be afraid to be vulnerable yourself. That relatability is so huge. Like my cousin Zach, my best friend to this day, he had everything I wanted. Beautiful wife, kids, house, married his high school sweetheart. He didn't understand what I was going through at all, but he listened. And then when it became too much, that's when he's like, hey, you got to talk to your mom. You got to talk about getting treatment. Like sometimes listening can save a life. And if you don't know how to help, that's okay. But go to someone that can, whether it's, someone else in your family, a mental health professional. If you have a kid in school or you're in college, you go to the therapy or the psychiatry department there that they offer free therapy on campus sometimes. Your school counselors in high school and middle school could help. Just being there for people, listening, checking in. Like I get so many, like I guess I'm just looking at my phone while I'm talking, just seeing like different messages and DMs. Like I text people all the time just randomly like, hey, how are you? What are you doing? Like this is a really like just crazy example, but that 2016 trend that was going on. So Kaylee Hartung, who's a silent reporter in the NFL, she's doing the Super Bowl next week. But she was at LSU. I was covering LSU. She was covering LSU for the SEC Network, and I had this like viral photo of her and Coach O like after he got like a Gatorade bath or whatever after the game, and she's interviewing him, and I sent it to her and was just like, pull my 2016 photos from my old phone. Hope like this is hilarious. Hope you're doing well. And then like we just go back and forth, like kind of just telling each other how proud we are of each other over these last 5 years of where we've been and where we go, or 10 years. And I just think that's important to check in on people, hold the door open for them, have conversations. Like the guy at 7-Eleven, I go on a walk and get a Slurpee almost every day. And Shabuj is this Indian guy that's been there for 26 years and everyone loves him in the community. We just started talking about like feelings and emotions one day, and then he figured out what I did. And it's like every time I walk into, he likes his job and he loves everyone else, I'm sure. But like I know, like when you see like your dog get excited when you walk in the house, that's how I feel when I go in 7-Eleven and I see Shabuj like being like, all right, next. And then all of a sudden I walk in and it's like, Brandon, hey, I'm like, oh my gosh, can't wait to talk. Like, so just like little things like that, even with people that you aren't family with or friends with, I think can go a long way. That was a long answer that basically said nothing, but yeah, just listen and be there for people.
That's so sweet. And what I took away from that is that you go to 7-Eleven every day and get a Slurpee. That's like a fun fact.
It
Learn
is
something new about Brandon.
What's funny is I'll be on the road and I'll say something about that when people ask like what my coping mechanisms are, and I'll be like hiking and getting a Slurpee, and so like after I leave somewhere, like I remember I left like Maine or something, and the next day I posted myself on a walk,
And I had like 5 people DM me like, "Where's the Slurpee? Are you at 7-Eleven? Like, what the?" I'm like, that's hilarious that people pick up on that stuff now.
So funny.
So
Yeah.
funny. I feel like I'm that person that like picks up on those little things, but
Little things are important.
they are. I would love to transition a little bit and talk about singleness because that is something that I think is top of mind for you and Carly right now. And obviously, you've been getting a lot of traction on social media about it.
Yeah. No dates, just traction on videos.
Just virality.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry for I'm
So-
throwing you off the ball.
no,
my
no,
bad.
no. You're fine. This is what it's all about.
You're taken, right? So I can't flirt with you during this. I'll say that for Carly.
I am
Okay,
happily
cool.
married. Yeah, it's
All right.
just
Oh,
Carly.
you're married too. Perfect. You guys both say it like that. I love it.
Oh, married. Yep.
Married.
Yep. Married.
Sorry, one of my
long-
friends is
the
from
long
like
vowel.
upstate
The A.
New York, and she says that, and I'm just like, I love it. It's so good. Sorry.
All right, easy. She's a wife. Stop flirting.
I know. My bad. Sorry.
Hands up. Hands
And
up.
are you close by?
And
Come
cancel
get
it.
your girl.
Yeah.
So, anyways, you made this video about saying that you weren't sure if you were ever going to be a husband or a father, and that was like really
Yeah.
upsetting. And it took off. And one thing that I kind of noticed, I listened to the episode that you talked about that video, and you said that so many people shared their stories, and then you opened this hotline for people to call in and, tell their story. And
Yeah.
something that I thought was really cool was it seems like, you do all this stuff with the mental game and you're really about helping others feel less alone. And it seems like in that moment that the community kind of rallied around you and made you feel less alone, which I thought was really cool.
That was a beautiful way to say it. Yeah, I feel the same way. I sat in this same spot, recorded that video on at 9 o'clock Pacific time on a Friday, posted it, didn't think anything of it, and I woke up and I'm like, holy shit, why does this have millions of views and comments? And I'm like, what is going on? And yeah, I did feel less alone, and I heard from people literally all over the world, which shocked me. I was getting messages from Paris and Australia and Africa and everywhere across the U.S. I was I couldn't believe that many people felt like me and could relate to me. So then opening that hotline, I cried on so many phone calls in that episode, whether it was someone talking about losing their mom or losing their dad and them never going to be at their wedding one day, or a gay man talking about how he's worried he's never going to get to be a father because of, his sexuality. And there's just so many things in between. But the biggest thing was me realizing I wasn't alone. And that's what's cool about social media. There's a lot of bad stuff that can happen. I get it. But when you can use it like you two are, or like I am, or some of the people I have on the show, and talk about how you're feeling and how it can help people, it also helps yourself. It's therapeutic. Us having this conversation now helps me. It helps you guys. Hopefully it helps people listening. But it's I had no idea that video would change my life. I didn't ask to cuss, but I'm assuming I can cuss since I already did 10 times, right?
Oh yeah, this is a cursing podcast.
Okay,
I have a
cool.
trucker's mouth if I've ever met
fucking
one.
Oprah saw that video. It's insane
It's
what that
crazy.
video did
Yeah.
for me, but it also did a lot for people that watched and listened, and hopefully I helped them. I can't reply to every DM and comment, but it's just so wild to see how your vulnerability and your relatability, you see that in other people and other people see it in you. And so, yeah, that video changed my life, and I started doing way more content like that because I realized people needed it and wanted it and
It's
helped
needed.
them.
Yeah.
I think I saw that video a couple days before we had our first phone call.
Yeah.
And I remember being at the end of it, being by the way, that video, I've never resonated with anything more. And then I think we stayed on the phone for another 45 minutes. Because I just felt so connected to you in that moment because you spoke the words that I've been feeling.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, even just firsthand, that video really changed everything because I was like, wow, he gets it and I'm not alone.
Yeah. It's you
so
think that no one else feels like you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's so special when somebody can put into words also what you've been feeling. And you're like,
Yeah.
yes, that's it. That's how I
Well,
feel.
And I think there's something powerful too about the other sex doing it. If you see a woman describing how I feel or a man describing how you feel, it probably hits different because women are just so much better about talking and emotions and everything. But you're used to talking about it with your girlfriends. You're not used to
Yeah.
seeing some guy talk about it on TV or on the internet. And so what the coolest thing for me was like hearing so many people talk about how it helped them have conversations with people that they love or in their relationship or just with their therapist. I was like last night I was scrolling, I didn't realize that had become like a trending audio on Instagram. So like if you go to that reel and you hit it, I was like, wait, what? And so there's all these videos of like these men going on like a walk by themselves or sitting at the lake, or it's just me talking about, I don't know if I would be a father or a husband, and that makes
Wow.
I was like, what the like how is this possible? But it relates and brings people together, which is really powerful. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I would love to understand your deep desire to be a father and a husband, because I think a lot of times in life, it's just something that people think it's the natural progression and it's a check the box that like just happens. But
Yeah.
watching that video, I can see to your core, it's something you desire so badly. Has that always been the case? Was it recently placed on your heart later in life? Like, why do you yearn for that so much?
Oh no, I was the weird romantic kid. I was, yeah, ever since I can remember, that's all I've wanted. I think living in Cincinnati, seeing, people marry their high school sweethearts. I don't know, I was just always a sensitive, emotional guy that dreamed of meeting my wife and having kids one day. And so the older I got, like I never really had that high school girlfriend that I always wanted. In college, like in young professional life, I had obviously 2 or 3 relationships that I thought that could come from, but I never really had like that one where I spent Christmas with someone or went on vacations together or was a plus one at a wedding. And so that stuff, I think I just always wanted it. I guess the reason why is because I just wanted to feel love and give that love to somebody else. And when you get close to it a couple times, or you think you are, and then it gets taken away from you, it just hurts even more. So I think for me, like I thought I saw everyone else around me, like even my parents who got divorced, they both got remarried, or they didn't both get divorced. They got divorced from each other, but then so I guess they did both get divorced, but from each other. And then they both like met their partner who like, I can totally understand why they're in love with each of them. Like 2 to 3 years after they got divorced, it's like, fuck, why is this taking so long for me? I'm 30, almost 33, and I haven't found anyone. So that takes a toll on you, but it just, I guess the reason was just wanting to share life with somebody.
Yeah.
It sounds sad to say that out loud, but it is true. Like, I remember watching a Taylor Swift documentary before she met Travis and all this, and it was like, she came home from a big show, and she's like, I just want to have somebody to tell stuff to that cares. That's not my mom. And I'm like,
Mhm.
damn, that hits. Like, I relate to that a lot. So yeah.
I can imagine that it becomes a lot harder when, slowly your friends start to have that person for themselves, because when we're younger, like, you don't really need that because you have other people that can be that person for you. But then
Yeah.
once everyone starts to kind of like couple up and go off and do their own thing, I can imagine it can feel a little bit lonely when you do have those things that you want to share. Or even Carly has talked about before, like, I want to try a new restaurant and like, I don't have anyone to just do that with, or a travel buddy, or just different things that you
You
don't
go
think about.
solo by yourself places, Carly?
I will do that more so when I'm traveling, and I do travel by myself pretty often. I don't typically do it when I'm in Philadelphia, but I'm also a homebody, so I would rather stay in
Gotcha.
over go out like 9 times out of 10. And I do have like a big friend group, and so while it would be nice to have a partner to try a new restaurant with, I know that I could just like grab a girlfriend if I actually wanted to.
Yeah.
So
You
I
got any
love,
spare girlfriends?
yeah, a couple, a couple.
Sorry.
I
bad
can lend
segue.
to you.
But like I don't like going out by myself because I feel alone, but I don't like sitting at home by
Yeah.
myself because I feel alone.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's better, what's worse?
Yeah.
Now I've appreciated, like, I'll go to a Dodger game by myself, or I'll go to a concert by myself, and it's like I've done that my whole life since high school. But now it's like I don't cry drunk and I'm sad about it halfway through because I don't have that girlfriend or wife with me, and that's been the big shift.
Yeah.
But it's just, yeah, it's a strange thing to feel that way. But like, I want to live life. I just want to share that life with somebody too.
Yeah. And I think that's a really fair thing to yearn for. It's just, I think a lot of us, we don't really think about it. It's just one of those things that it's like, yeah, of course I do, but we don't really ever get to the root of like why it's so important to us. But
Yeah.
I'm curious, like what you feel like, if you can identify anything, what is
What
like
my
a really
red
big
flags are?
that, and what what are barriers? Maybe it's that there's too many red flags. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just a big old piece of shit is what you just made it sound like. Sorry, I have a
You
weird
said it.
I know, I have a weird sense of humor. Like I just have to joke about stuff to make it lighter. The barriers, as you would say, I think would be, well, one, I just like don't try anymore. Like I'm off and on Hinge every few months, but like I hate it. I don't think I've told anyone this. I just got like on Raya, which is weird. So
Someone
I
tell me
don't.
what Raya is, because I don't really know.
It's like an exclusive dating app. So you
Yeah.
like have
Okay.
to apply. You have to like be accepted.
You gotta
Somebody
be
needs
someone.
to refer you. You have to like pay for it, and it's supposed to
Oh,
be
I don't
this
pay
like.
for it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that
So-
means you're
Important
really
caveat.
important if you don't pay for it.
I don't know about that. It was strange though because like I know it has to be the people that are on it, and there are famous people on it, and that is weird to see because you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this girl's cute, then you're like, whoa, is this like so and so from that thing, and you have like
Yeah.
5 million followers? Oh, you're miserably single too? Okay, I feel less alone.
Yeah.
That's not answering the barriers question. I guess I just hate the app life, but I also don't have, excuse my French, but like I don't have the balls to go up and say, hey, you're beautiful, can we grab coffee or let's grab a drink or whatever, like because I got rejected so much in my life that I'd rather just not get rejected than there be a chance of getting a yes. So like I want to date, but I'm not like going out of my way to try. So I think that's a barrier because
Can
I'm
I comment on that really quick?
Please do.
So, because one thing about me, I can't hold my tongue. No, I'm just thinking about my own barriers. And I feel like with the dating scene, the biggest struggle is I feel like men don't take initiative anymore. And I actually made a TikTok about this like months ago and got absolutely roasted by the guys in the comments. Like they were so angry at me for saying that. And that was a similar sentiment throughout all of the comments. Well, women are bitches. Every time we try to approach, we're told you're creepy, leave us alone. They only want the attractive 6'5" guys like to approach them. Like this isn't across the board. And so it does sound like, you know, I'm over here on my high horse being like, where are all the men who want to be masculine and, you know, dominant? But then on the same, you know, the same coin, it's like women are playing a role because it seems like we're not really giving off good energy either. And we're picking and choosing who we want to give that energy and time
Yeah.
to, which that sucks. And I'm sorry that's your experience, but it just goes to show how you're kind of scared to do exactly what I'm looking for, but you're valid in that because your historical experience has said, I've tried this and it
Yeah.
hasn't worked out and it hasn't
Hasn't
made
been
me
well
feel good.
received.
So I've stopped.
Yeah, and like one thing that a lot of people probably just wouldn't be open about, but I am, is like I like casually dated a lot, which I like. Am I proud of? No, I always wanted to find that picture perfect wife and relationship and have that from high school on. But working a job I did, traveling all the time, late hours, being an alcoholic, that's just kind of what happened because of the product of my environment. Is it what I
Yeah.
wanted? No, but you know, everything was like that's what that person wanted too. It's just so like I don't know how to describe it. Like I hate looking back on myself that I was that way, but it's like I think I still had this little tiny hope that even if I was just hooking up with someone, I'm like, oh, there's potential here. Like maybe she'll like me or fall in love with me or marry me or all this stuff. That's just casual to bring up. But now I'm like I'm in the best shape I've ever been. I'm the best with my mental health. I have my favorite job. I live in one of the most beautiful places in the country. I have all this confidence except for dating, which is so weird because I'm way better, I think, of a person than I've ever been, but I'm not willing to get no. So, yeah, it's just strange. I understand why people were coming at you in the comments, but I also, like, it's a two-way street. Like,
Yeah.
you also got to be a good person and be a gentleman, which is the standard for that's pretty low, but I think I hold it pretty high.
Yeah. And imagine just how many times you put yourself out there for the mental game and like, you know, proposing different business ventures, and how many times you probably hear the word no. So it's like the same muscle with dating, but it does feel a little bit more personal, I would imagine, when it is, you know, with dating. So it doesn't sound like you're really actively dating much because A, you're so busy with the mental game, but it also just doesn't really seem like you're like emotionally in a place to be setting up these dates
available.
Available.
Emotionally available.
Not emotionally confident.
I'm emotionally confident in myself. I think the dating part of it, like my dream is that like I just meet somebody at Orange Theory, or I talk at one of these schools or companies and the HR person or the counselor I just fall in love with. I'm so cheesy and stupid, but like also that would be really, really easy instead of me having to go up to a stranger at a ball game or a concert or getting coffee. So yeah, I want it all, but it's not like what's tearing me down every second of every day like it did for the majority of my adult life. So I think that's different. But yeah, I don't know. It's so strange. Like I have not been on a date in 3 years. I've been single 3.5-ish years. So like I went on a couple dates right after me and my ex broke up, and whatever, rebound dates, fun dates, whatever you want to call them. But like when you've come so close to finding the person that you thought you were going to marry, and you feel like for the first time you felt what real love was, even if there was toxic stuff or arguments or it didn't work out, you just want to find something that's as close to that but even better when you've had it already. And so I've also come to the point where I've accepted the fact that I might not ever get that, which makes me sad, but now I'm grateful that I at least got to experience it for 2 years of my life, no matter how toxic it was. If that makes any sense. Like it's just being comfortable with either possibility. Yeah. But yeah, the rejection thing is the biggest thing that's holding me back from dating.
I'm so curious, like just to play devil's advocate, what's the worst thing that could happen if someone like if you went up to someone and they rejected you or said like, no, thank you? Because from what it sounds like, you have like a lot of self-confidence and you're really confident in yourself and who you are as a person. So hopefully that rejection shouldn't be reflected onto you, if that makes sense. Like when you go home, you're not going to be like, well, I'm a terrible person and like I don't deserve love because this person didn't want to.
Yeah, it sounds.
You know what I mean? Like what's the worst that can
hypothetically,
happen?
But it's like I had this thought yesterday at Orange Theory, and I know I keep talking about that, but that's like the only place I gotta go there.
Is this a promo for Orange Theory? Are you getting paid for this?
I wish I was. That would be awesome. I wouldn't have to pay my membership fees. But I work, I go hiking, I go to Orange Theory. That's pretty much it. And 7-Eleven for Slurpees, which can be intertwined with
so the couple stops along the way.
Yeah, but like I remember I was running yesterday at Orange Theory, and I'm close with a couple of the coaches, and I just didn't have the balls to do it. But I was like, yo, who's in spot 2 today? Like that girl is hot. She's like, seems like you're joking with her, but like, God, I hope she doesn't see this now. But I'm like,
why not?
Now that they're gonna figure it out, but I don't know. Because of the fear.
I'm gonna find out who she is, and then I'm gonna personally send it to her.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure she has a husband or something like there's or just
not with that attitude.
Okay, all right, fair. This is the negative self-talk that as the mental health guy shouldn't have. To answer your question, it is literally just hearing like there's 3 ways that's gonna go. She's going to give me your number. She's going to text me back. We're going to go on a date. Second way, she's going to give me your number. She's not going to text me back. And third, she's just going to say no, thank you, and lie about being in a relationship if she's trying to be nice, or maybe she really is. And so I'd rather just not experience any of them, which is kind of why I'm in this point. Like just that no or it not happening. Just the fear of rejection, which is so weird because like you guys said earlier, I've taken every risk. I get rejection all day long from agents and publicists and sponsors, but it's like when it comes to my life, I can't do it.
I am curious, as somebody who's also dating, I feel like I'm always struggling, and there's this push and pull between these 2 narratives. The first narrative being that if I focus on myself and I live my life, you know, pursuing my passions, that will naturally lead me to my person, and it'll be this organic meeting. The other narrative in my head is that I need to exert effort. I need to put myself out there. I need to go out sometimes when I don't feel like going out, because just talking about probability, that will increase the percentage that I cross paths with somebody.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm always kind of straddling the fence, and I don't even know which narrative is right. Do you subscribe to one over the other?
I don't know. Yeah, I just don't. I thought, yes to both almost, where I'm like, I'm 3 years into like being the best version of myself, I think, and like working on myself. So I'm like, and moving to LA, one of the biggest cities in the world, I'm like, for sure I'll meet my wife out here. And it just hasn't happened yet. So then you get to the point of like, all right, maybe it won't ever happen. So yeah, I thought that working on yourself that it would, but like, I don't like, when's the last time you've been on a date, Carly?
About a month and a half ago, I would say.
Okay.
And that was actually not in my norm. Like, I do go on dates
Congrats,
when
by
I'm
the way.
interested. Well, it didn't end great. So like it's
Okay.
but that little stint of dates made me feel things that I haven't felt in a really long time. And even though it didn't end great, it reminded me of what it feels like to be excited about somebody and have insane chemistry with somebody.
Oh, all right.
And that's something I hadn't experienced in honestly like 6 years. So even though it was a blip in time and it ended up being like so minuscule, I feel like it left me with something that was like so important to remember. And it's that there is a big void, but I actually enjoy dating. I think it's a fun process when you like take the pressure off of it, but I just find it very rare to find somebody that's worth the time and energy to go on a date, because I'm a homebody and I like don't inherently love going out. And
I am going to sound very, very shallow by saying this, but I have dated and casually dated a lot in my life, and I talk to people for a living, like just as friends or interviewing people, and it's like I think when it comes to dating, I can tell like within 5 minutes of talking to someone, like, all right, I don't think it's beneficial for me to spend my time working on this relationship with this person because we're just not going to get along, or we're not a match. We don't have chemistry. And so, like you were saying, dating's fun or whatever, or something like that. And Jess was laughing at me because I'm just like, absolutely not. Hate it. I just don't. Yeah, I don't know.
See, yeah, it is fun when you have that chemistry, which is so few and far between. And I think I'm only saying it's fun because I recently had that chemistry with somebody, and that was fun. Previously, I would have said I hate dating because, similar to you, I know in an instant if I'm going to hit it off with somebody. And it's hard because the people in my life are always like, you need to give people a chance. You need to give things a shot at developing.
Yeah, the people that married their high school sweetheart are telling you that.
Yeah, probably. And
No
I'm like,
offense,
no,
Jess, I don't know when you got married. My bad.
her high school sweetheart. They've been together for like 11 years.
I know, and I told her that too.
I'm so happy that you're happy. Oh, congrats on having everything that we want.
Yeah,
I am
honestly.
happy for you. I was just being an asshole.
No, I know.
But I always battle that. I'm like, I know it's not going to work out. I've seen this movie before. I know how it ends, and I don't want to waste my time, and I don't want to waste their time. Like, I'm very intuitive, but people do believe that chemistry can grow, and the modern dating scene just isn't set up that way, because you go on a date, and like I also believe like a first date should be like an hour and a half. Like, I'm not spending 3-4 hours with you. Like, that's
It should
crazy
also be
talk.
like coffee or going to the park or doing something
Right.
that's not like a 4-course meal of
Right.
everything in a movie after or something.
Yeah, but it's like small interactions. And so how are you supposed to get to know somebody on a deep level? So my question in the back of my head is like, am I giving this a fair chance? Am I really knowing this person to their core? Because then I compare it to like people falling in love with their coworkers, and that's because they like have sat side by side for, sat side by
Put
side
your hand
for
up
years.
if you ever.
Yeah,
I have
so
exclusively almost dated my coworkers. So
well,
don't
there's
a
recommend.
really nice
science
way.
behind that.
Yeah.
Well, do
It's
you
a
want to
nice
know
way
my
get to
theory
know
on it?
somebody.
What's your
It's-
theory?
So, especially working in media, you're with people for like 12 hours a day. You're working on hard stuff, and you just like, this is going to be very. So, like, I know where I'm at in the attractiveness meter, but I also know where I'm at. It's not the top, I know that. But I also know where I'm at when it comes to like being a good person and a good partner and supportive and listener and empathetic. And so when you're working with people or even you're just around people for longer, those two kind of like weigh each other out. I think I've outkicked my coverage in those situations because partially maybe women have not had that supportive partner in the past, and so maybe they're willing to compromise for physical attraction and emotional intelligence or attraction. I don't know what math I'm doing right now, but like
Boy math.
Exactly. I've experienced it multiple times where I'm like, why is she paying attention to me? And then I'm like, oh, maybe like no one's ever opened the door for her, or no one's ever treated her to this type of experience or been supportive or listened. And so for me, that's like, I don't know. That's don't date your coworkers, but that's why it happens, because you're around people so much. You trust them, and then you grow to learn about them, love them, whatever. Yeah, but don't do it. Don't do it.
I think that was the key word, was grow. And I think there's so much emphasis on the fact that there's no pressure. And I think that's exactly what, like Carly and I talk about this, I think that's exactly what the dating apps are, is like, it's just this immense pressure and upfront judgment of like, do I like this person or not? Do I want to pursue it? And with like being around people and working with them, you don't have that pressure, or that's not even the goal. And you just get to know them as they are. And then, then can decide if they're attractive after you already know all these things about them.
Yeah. Well, it makes people more attractive when you learn that it's more than just like a physical thing. It's like, oh, I really like the way that this woman talks to her family, or I really like how she cares about this cause. And so I think there is some validity to that, where it's like you could use, like in the dating world, like on dating apps, it's just like, all right, what question did you answer? How tall are you? Who are the friends in your photos? Like, who do you hang out? Like, yeah, I think that's a good point. Maybe I should go apply to work somewhere again with a bunch of women. And, I'm kidding.
Get a real job.
Yeah, I don't want a real job. What is weird is thinking about, like, I'm definitely nervous, and you didn't ask me this, but I'm gonna act like you did. I'm very nervous of, like, when I meet that person, how they're gonna feel about my entire life, especially my romantic life, being on the internet. Now, there's no pictures of me and my ex. I've never said her name out of respect for her and I, and just in general wanting to keep that private. But like, my whole life story outside of her name and picture is on the internet. So like, I'm definitely concerned for how someone's going to react to that or be comfortable with that.
Yeah. Well, I would say the right person won't be turned off by that. And that's something I've battled. And that's a big insecurity I've had to get over, even with just like posting silly TikToks. Like, that's inherently not me at my core. And I have posted something being like, oh my God, I hope the guy that I'm dating doesn't see this. Like, I'll hide people from my story to not see stuff because I'm still a little embarrassed.
And it's not even embarrassing. It's
human.
like talking about mental health. Like, I don't,
it is,
but it's just the fact
like
of
putting
like
myself out there and like letting it be known that I'm like trying at something and then feeling like it's not living up to like the expectation. And so, I mean, yeah, it's twofold, right? It's putting yourself out there, but then it's also like the intimate details. Yeah. And something that I always come back to is like, the right person won't run from that, because this is me in all my glory, take it or leave it. And like, you're building something so important, and the person that you're meant to be with will support you in that, not tear you down or have opinions about it.
Well, thank you for saying that. I hope so too. I did have an interesting encounter where I've had like 2 relationships where I thought I was going to marry someone. And the last one is where, I don't know why I'm smiling, just because it's funny saying this, I guess. But I was out to dinner like 2 years ago in Cincinnati when I was back in town. And the one that, like, before I kind of went to the hospital and hit this rock bottom and started the mental game, I never said any names or pictures. So I saw the one before her, and I had to, like, I just said hi. She's with her family, and it was very casual and normal. And then I was like, by the way, like, you understand that like most of this isn't about you, right? Like, actually none of it is. It was another relationship. She's like, oh, that's helpful to know. And I'm like, yeah, cause I felt so bad. I was like, oh yeah, I hope you didn't think that I think she's engaged or married. Like, love that woman. She's great, amazing. But I was just like, I hope you don't think that I'm on the internet shitting about you. I wasn't shitting about the other person. I'm just talking about life in general. But I felt so bad. I'm like, oh, sorry about that.
We should clear this up real quick.
Yeah, it's not. It's
tricky not saying names.
Yeah.
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 We were just talking about pressure a lot in a different way. But in watching your video, and I know we only have a couple minutes left here, but I did want to address this because I think it's important to understand like someone's perception of their own reality versus an external party's perception of reality. And I look at you and I look at your age, right? You're 32 years old. I feel like you're so young. You're so in your prime. You're living your purpose. You're putting yourself out there. You have a platform to be like discovered by, people that could set you up with your wife. Like, I think you're so well positioned. And so I guess I'm just curious, do you genuinely feel like your time is running out? And maybe I'm asking this as a place to be like, bitch, you're not even a woman with a biological clock. Like, let's talk about time running out. But truthfully, I look at you and I'm like, I feel like you have the world at your fingertips.
Yeah.
It's just interesting, the dichotomy between my perception and yours with your situation.
I would not use the B word to describe a woman. I just want to make that clear. Yeah, it's different though, because I have felt that way about myself throughout a lot of my life. I know it's way more true now, but it's like, if it didn't happen then, why is it going to happen now? And I guess I'm in a better spot and I love myself and all that stuff, which is very important. I believe in it. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I just don't put myself out there enough. That's part of it. I'm willing to date. I just don't want to date right now because, again, it goes back to I just don't want to waste my time. Like, I could go on a couple dates. Like, there's definitely been opportunities for me, especially after those viral videos of people asking me to go out, and I don't reply to most DMs. Actually, like, I think I replied to like maybe one or two that were in that scenario. Nothing ever happened, never went on any dates. But like, I would rather pour my energy into this, like the podcast, speaking, all this stuff that is my purpose, and then hopefully organically, maybe one day it'll happen. Like, that's kind of where my head's at, where I'm not giving up hope, but I'm just kind of putting it on pause and hoping that it does happen when it's supposed to. Does it make me sad even thinking about that? Sure. But like, I'm not going to stop living my life because I'm waiting to meet somebody that might not ever come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
God,
that makes
sad
total
to say
sense.
out loud. Ugh, God. Ugh.
No, I totally get it.
I was just going to say, I'm so curious. I feel like that's your ideal scenario, like a DM for someone to like reach out and want to get a date. Like, why didn't you say yeah? Why didn't you go on a date with anybody?
Here,
or
you
have
wanna
a
go
phone
through?
call or something?
You want to go through them all?
Should we
Yeah, we
decide
could be
who
your
you should
managers.
respond to?
No, I also
Give us
wanna,
your
like,
login.
I want to block out names and stuff, but it is insane to, like, I don't know. It was really weird to get. I mean, when I say this, I'm not saying this like a flex. When that first video came out to now, I've probably got somewhere between 1,500 and 3,000 DMs from women just talking about that video or how it helped them or how they feel the same way. Some asking about dates, like, hey, when are you going to be in Australia next? I'm like, I've never been there, so I don't know. Things like that. Yeah, I think that would be ideal. That or meeting somebody at Orange Theory or at 7-Eleven.
There it is again.
Just something organic or like hiking.
Casual
We need
drop.
more women drinking Slurpees. I think that's the problem here.
Dude, if
Clicked.
If any women are around Sherman Oaks, California, at the bottom of the Hollywood Hills, there's a 7-Eleven that I go to all the time. We go hiking
There's
afterwards.
going to be a line, Brandon. There's going to be a line there.
I don't
the
think there
next
will
time
be,
you go.
but if there is, I will be so excited. Yeah, just that would be neat. I would like that. The organic thing, whether it's, I don't really want a DM, but I mean, it could work. It's better than a dating app, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I think we are wrapping up on time. And I know you have some exciting stuff up next after this.
Big
Hopefully
shoes
we're
to
not
fill.
throwing you for a loop here, but we end every episode with a segment and we share our only human moment for the week. Did you come with an only human moment?
Like that happened this week or just in general?
Usually this week, but we could bend the rules for you.
And
And you don't have to go first if you want to think
so
about
much.
it.
Well, the only human thing I did on this podcast was flirting with a married woman. Sorry, Jeff.
I don't think it was flirting.
Okay, well,
Maybe
I
that's why you're
tried.
single.
I'm kidding.
Just kidding.
My only human moment. I think I'm big about like letting yourself feel feelings like you have to, and I think I had a moment like at home. I was home this week in Cincinnati speaking at some schools and working on a new project. But I just like, I let myself feel sad for like 5 minutes. It sounds weird, but like, I don't get sad a lot anymore. And so I let myself feel sad about not having that wife or that family. And the important thing is like letting yourself feel those feelings, get a couple tears out, talk about it, listen to a song that makes you feel a little bit better. But then you like don't let it drag you down for the rest of the day or for the rest of the week or the year. So I guess that's like my only human moment. I like feeling feelings. Like I'll probably after this like go to 7-Eleven, go hiking and like listen to some music and probably shed a few tears about talking to you two about how lonely and sad my life is for being 32. But I mean that like it's good that we talk about this stuff. You have to, but
Yeah.
it does still. I talk about my life and the worst feelings every single day, so it doesn't get to me a lot. But then certain times, like I make myself feel those things.
It's only when you feel them that you can move through them and kind of see the other side. So I think that's an important part of being human, is allowing yourself to take those emotions as they come. So I love that.
Oh, well, thank you.
That was a good
Sure.
one. That was a really good one.
Oh, was it the best one yet?
Mm-hmm. Best one
yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
What the hell was that? It was like, well, you know what? We've actually had better.
We were thinking about it. Did you
Okay.
want an honest answer? A thoughtful answer?
Yeah, no, I want you to lie to me.
Okay.
So yeah, it was the best one.
I'm
ever.
noticing some more red flags as we go on.
I like dishonest women with baggage.
Oh my
no, I'm kidding.
gosh.
All the red flags.
Yeah.
Jess,
Okay, what
what's
was your only human?
moment? Oh,
Okay, fine. I'll
okay.
go.
You first. Ladies
Okay.
first.
Because I need to get this off my chest. So, Brandon, you probably don't know this, but I don't usually have bangs. Last night, I had a little bit of an impulsive decision to get bangs. And
Okay.
my only human moment is today kind of feeling like I regret it.
Why? They look
But
great.
I don't know.
That's what I'm
Thank
saying.
you.
I'm like, how can you regret that? You look like a
But I feel like
rock
it's just
star.
human to be like a little confused in change and like very
Yeah.
unsure. You know, it's not that deep, but I don't know. I like was like trying to fix them for so long because I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like them. So
They look amazing.
that's my only
We
human
approve.
moment. Thank you.
And we're all that matters. So
True.
plus
True.
Ant, your husband.
Plus it.
My only human moment is I was in the city yesterday for work and we just got so much freaking snow on the East Coast, and it's like a few days out from the snowstorm, so like it's not pretty anymore. It's like
Yeah.
slush and it's piled on the sidewalk. For some reason that I don't know, I wore like stiletto booties to the office, and it wasn't until I was like parking my car down there and getting out to walk around, it was like I was skating on ice over the whole city, and it was so embarrassing because everyone has like their snow boots on or their sneakers.
But you
And
look good.
I mean, yeah, actually, hell yeah. You know what? I don't regret it anymore because it was a lot better than sneakers. No, but I looked like an absolute idiot trying to like navigate the city because I had to get lunch somewhere, then walk to the office, then walk to dinner. Like it wasn't like I was just showing up somewhere.
Yeah.
So that was definitely an only human moment. I just like was not thinking when I got dressed that morning.
I got a rap on this, but I've never heard the word booty to describe shoes. So,
They're boots that like only come to your ankle.
but they don't go to your booty. So why are they called booties?
Oh, yeah, true. Those would be called thigh highs, and they are for a totally different purpose.
Okay,
Not-
all right.
not for the
that's
office.
A great way to wrap up.
And on
Brandon,
that note,
thank you so much. Honestly, this was awesome. So happy
Yeah.
that you were able to come on.
yeah, we could have talked for another hour,
Literally
or two, but I know we
hours.
both have hard stops that we're both late for. So genuinely, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you guys both. Can't wait for this to come out, and we'll update our dating life after this. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
There we go. Love it.
right.
Bye.
All right.
See you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.